What up? And we are back at it one more time while I sip on a cold Mickey, semi cold, and nurse a little shot. I don't think I'm gonna bring up any articles. I don't feel the need to do that. Um, I just want to talk about RIC, Russia, Iran, China. I want to float a couple things out there. First, let me say I don't know how else to say I told y'all so, but I told you so. I did. Now, before we even talk about the situation over there in Ukraine, let me make it vehemently clear Taiwan will be next. Even a blind squirrel is right twice a day, y'all, and broken clocks. And if that's what they want to antiquate me to, equivalent me to, right? That's what I'll be. Right. If they want to sequester me into that sort of category, let that be the case. But let me tell you all this. This doesn't change anything for you. See, Rick and the Way of the Warrior is a very old school way that they learned actually from an American by the name of Theodore Roosevelt. And his way of warriorism, and he actually was a true warrior. I could contend outside of Eisenhower, right? He's the last like real warrior president. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't think of anybody between him and Eisenhower. Maybe JFK, I guess, because he served in World War II. I guess you could throw him in there, but he was boisterous about things. Theodore Roosevelt had a philosophy of speak softly but carry a big stick. And this policy came from the good neighbor policy when America sought to expand its imperial reach to what you now consider, South America. During the years of Theodore Roosevelt's presidency would be the time when the Panama Canal would be established or they begin the construction of it. And he would use this policy. This is why there were so many wars in the so-called banana republics, right? Way before the Cuban Missile Crisis and things like that. We're talking 50, 60, 70 years before that. This is true. So what we have to look at it is this. The speak softly, carry a big stick has now transitioned to the Russian, Iranians, and the Chinese, and for good cause. Because you can't do all that saber rattling from way over there, knowing that you can't get your enemy. But I needed people to see something with this Ukraine situation. Had Ukraine fell back and said, you know what, okay, we don't want to be part of NATO. And okay, you know what, we'll just join the rest. And for name's sake only, in name only, will we join the Federation again, or will we? Because it's easier to do that than it is to say the whole world should go to war for us. The fuck out of here. But this is how they think. Now, let me take a swipe at Taiwan one more time again, real quick, before I forget about it. This won't be very long. I don't plan on being here for more than an hour. I don't need more than an hour. I really just came to say politely, I told everybody so. I told them so. And I know I told them so. Whether y'all want to believe it or not. See, we go back to last May. I was talking about shit. And I'm talking about the year, the month that I picked up talking about Rick started acting all the way up. All the way up. Okay. They was acting all the way up, bro. I love it. But what can I do about it? I'm one man. And of course, I have a small platform. And of course, I get a what's the word I'm looking for? I get a distant amount of participation. That's a polite way of saying what I really want to say. Now, Taiwan is going to get the business, or they're going to fall the fucking line. This is all there is to it. See, even if I believe that mainland China is full of the imposter bloods, the ones who actually invaded China, right? The actual, before there was these flat-faced mongoloids running around everywhere, there were Negroid people everywhere on Earth. If not Afro, still curly hair. And when they didn't have, once again, when I say Negroid, I use that term loosely to explain all the different groups of individuals that had darker skin, black hair, or darker hair and dark eyes. And I'm not talking about mongoloids that are from the south of the border who get brown. I'm talking about people that actually, when you look at them in their face, their phenotype, as I reintroduced to the people many years ago, that their phenotype is a similar or alike. The invader Mongol class was able to successfully take over all of the so-called mainland of China. They're the ones who united it, not the Aboriginal people. Right, because they were all just fine living in their states, in their own states. But the Mongols, the Khans, forced them, right, to be one nation because they didn't want people telling a different story in history. So my belief, my thorough belief, it's not just because these are the survivors of when China wanted to be a republic or a dictatorship and all that. Forget all that. Forget all that. Because they've had the chance well over 100 years to reconcile these differences before it got to the point to where it was at. Because once everything happened in the late 50s, coming into the 60s, that's kind of when, it all went all the way left for China as far as that relation with Taiwan. But over 100 years ago, though, the misunderstanding or the miseducation of the basic people in China, if that was addressed, then there would have been, I don't think the friction would be the way that it is. But it's difficult for me to see that it can be any other thing. Taiwan must be home to people or groups of people that are literally uh what's the word I'm looking for? Taiwan is literally like homes to groups of people that are like part blood, if you will. Some of them will still have the curly hair. Some of them even still grow beards with their curly hair. Right. Where if you look at them at first look, you have to really look. Is that an Arab or is that a Chinaman? You can't tell all the time right off tops. But they blood mix so heavy to where even when they have certain physical features, they don't look like you or me anymore. Doesn't mean that they don't think anything like us. Let me go ahead and break that down. Just means that they don't look like us. Now, having said that, Taiwan's still next. If they don't get in line and if they don't fall back, they're next. I'm telling y'all, I'm the only one who's going to say it out loud. There's no need for me to beat around the bush or none of that. Do y'all remember when I first did the Return of the Khan? And I was talking about, and this was August of last year, I want to say, somewhere around that time. And in the Return of the Khan, we speak on the fact that the Ilkhanate, which was the Mongol Empire or the Khan Empire, that stretched as far, we're gonna say, is from the furthest end of China to the furthest end of Russia, and everything in between. Right, most of the spaces, most of the locales in between. Now, why this is so important, or why I bring this up, or why I brought that up, is because we have to recognize Russia used to be part of the Ilkhanate. Now, granted, they were part of the Ilkhanate that broke away eventually, became known as things like the Golden Army and this, that, and the third. But that's not the problem. The issue is that if you don't know that part of their history, it doesn't matter. Now I got a little link I want to put into this comment section here real fast. So give me 1 second. Got to go to my email. Oh my God, the light is so bright. And I got this email from brother Corey Tyler, and it's very interesting. When I say very, very interesting piece of information. Let me see. Give me one moment. One second. Cannot find it just yet. Give me one moment. I know I have it in here, y'all. I know I do. But anyhow, my biggest issue is that people don't see that they're connected. Their history goes back well over 1,000 years. Their history, this stuff is so old that if we don't look at it with both eyes wide open, we mess around and miss something. Okay? We mess around and don't see what we're supposed to see. Where is it at? Yeah, brother Corey Tyler sent me this very interesting link, and it has like it has like the has like a timeline. Here we go. Bang, bang, bang. Copy. Oh, get that shit out my face. Paste. What's popping, fam? What is popping? Hope all is well with y'all. Hope everything is good. Hope it's all straight. We're talking about things we've already talked about before, but now we're gonna really hit it up. Cause brother Jeremy, I don't know if it dawned on anybody what really happened these last couple days. Number one, Russia pulled America's card. Nobody can tell me any different. America said if the Russians did this and this and this, we'll do this. Russians said, okay, we'll see, nigga. Now, did I think that they were going to really make it pop like that? Not really. I'm not saying they were bluffing, but when I was asking Rick that, man, just go ahead and pop this shit off, Rick was like, I don't know about that, player. We'll have to hold up and see about all that. And the more I look at it, the more I'm like, yep, speak softly, carry a big stick. The big stick is so you can bust somebody upside their head. You speak softly so that way nobody can try to say that you were being hostile towards them. Right. So even if I ask you for something completely absurd, I said it in a very, how you say, a calm tone, right? One that doesn't create duress, one that doesn't create a vexation. It shouldn't, based on how a person says it to you. It might be an indecent proposal, but as indecent as it is, it's not like they're boisterous about it. Boisterous about it. They're not. They're not just all out there. Russia didn't come out there on the news and broadcast and be like, "Man, we invading. Okay, we taking back some shit that used to be ours, and we smacking down our first cousins because they want to be suckers." Nothing like that. Nothing like that. All Russia said was that America continues to be a provocation in the East. Right. And that's an honest assessment. Now, when you look at the situation, if this is a glass and it's full of anything, take the whole part of it off that has nothing in it. It has to be a full glass at all. No matter how small the glass would be, it has to be a full glass. And if there's nothing in the glass, then you have nothing. So with the full glass of whatever, no matter how small that serving is, we have to look at this stuff eyes wide open and say, all right, what's really coming next? Okay, China is as close, if not closer, to Taiwan than Russia is to Ukraine. Right. Oh, by the way, China has things militarily that is competing with any nation in the world. Forgot to say that, didn't I? So, are the Chinese talking about invading Taiwan? Not anymore. They're going to take a note. They're going to take a whole page if they have to, out of the Russian book. Allow the Western world to create a situation that you can't ignore. I can't ignore y'all trying to put this group into NATO. And this is the craziest part. If China or Russia was part of NATO, it wouldn't matter. See, that's how smart the Americans are. And that's how you know that whoever is really in charge is trying to create friction. They're purposely trying to create a situation. That's the only logical thing. Because why not have said to these to China or Russia 20 years ago, hey, y'all can join NATO. There's going to be some stipulations. Everything, all is well. Right. Because then you could actually hold Russia accountable by being a NATO member. You can't hold them accountable, and you've willfully withheld them their ability to become a member of NATO. I remember, man, when I was in high school, China petitioned to become a member of NATO. It was shot down almost immediately. Now, I bet you all these cats who did that, I bet you they wish China was part of NATO. Right. I don't have to answer to you because I'm not part of your coalition. The Northern Atlantic Treaty Organization, which was born after the League of Nations, okay? Just in case y'all didn't, just in case you guys did not know, that's where it comes from. Oh, one moment. Way of the warrior. Like I said, they talk soft and they carry a big stick around. You know what I mean? There's no need to get wild with you if I know I'll bust your head wide open. Right. When I say there's no need, there's no need. Hey, if you know you will split my head right down the middle, why does it matter? Right. I don't need to get aggressive then. I don't need to even exert any form of energy. As excited as I am now speaking on it, it would be almost impossible to tell that my internal calm or anger has fluctuated. Right. Speak softly, carry a big stick. There's a reason for that. Okay? And everybody who wants to say this, that, and the third. I tried to tell people months ago about Ukraine, about the issue that was there. This was before it even got like, y'all, I need y'all to understand. I was talking about this before it even blew up, before it became a problem. Just like I was talking about Afghanistan, before that really blew up and became what it was. Right. I'm trying to tell y'all right now, the only thing I see coming from all this is that Taiwan had better pucker up. Okay. They better pucker up and get ready for a big, wet, sloppy, nasty kiss. Otherwise than that, get back in line, fool, before you get slapped up. Right. Because that's all there's coming to them. Oh, you think America or anybody's going to go over there fucking with the Chinese? Really, really? I want to see it. Look, I know they say the revolution won't be televised, but I want to see that. Okay? I want to seize that. Because, man, okay. Let me tell you something. I seen the craziest shit today when I was at the store. I was in line getting my groceries. And I bought 2 yams, a sweet potato, 3 sticks of celery, 3 sticks of celery, 3 carrots, 5 tomatoes, a small bundle of green onion, a couple of beers, and a couple of shots. And as I look over, I don't know why I told you all that, but I wanted to let you know. I'm not in here eating this junk food all the time. But I look over as I'm checking out. I always check my surroundings, but I look over, I see this white guy walking, probably late 30s, early 40s, and his hand is in his pocket. Now I can see that it's a weapon. And I swear on everything, this white dude look at me, and I look at him, and I've already got my hand in my pocket, getting my knife ready. And I'm like, the look on my face, because I was instantly angered, but the look on my face must have said, if you do it, It's me and you, bro. Right on. If you start doing some crazy shit in here, it's me and you. I'm on your ass because you don't just get to kill me. I'm sorry. You don't just get to kill Demetrius Antoine Jones, who should be a Griffin. You don't get to just take him up off the earth without him fighting back, especially if he has a chance. Needless to say, I saw this individual get in and out the store before I was even checked out. This is all within like a 30-second, maybe a minute window. And they bought no thing. They walked in, they walked as if they were going to the self-checkout and walked straight out the store. See, did I tell him, like, nigga, you better not pull the strap and start, but did I get loud and do all that kind of ignorant, stupid ass nigga shit? No, did none of that. I just watched him and looked at him, and the intent in my eyes told him, if you do that, if you do whatever it is that's on your mind, and I'm telling you, I seen the gun in his hand, I seen it in his pocket. Word? Trust me, it's not the first time I've seen somebody do some stuff like that. Now, maybe he had just been in a situation that he felt like he must have been ready to defend himself. I don't know that, but I really don't care. You see what I'm saying? I really don't care. If the gun was too big for the pocket, whatever, I really don't care. Right. See, it's little things like that. And people don't know. That's my first time ever catching some shit like that as far as in a grocery store. It's normally on the streets at night when I'm walking or when I'm going from place to place. And I notice things like that. But it just really took me aback. I was like, is this motherfucker about to start shooting this bitch up? Needless to say, this individual wasn't loud or boisterous about anything either. Had they chosen and decided to do anything, I had already made my mind up. Right. Whatever they do, I'm going to act on that instinctively and aggressively. So the Russians are doing nothing that I wouldn't expect anybody within their right mind to do. The Chinese are going to do what someone, Gentile or man or anything in between, is going to do within their right mind. You don't get to threaten. So you don't get to say, hey, we're going to be friends with a group of individuals that literally help bring us to the brink of destruction. You don't get to be allies with them. China is not an ally of America. No matter what comes out of their mouth, they're not an ally of England or Britain or London or Germany, none of those places. Because as far as they're concerned, when they was hooked to the dope super duper bad, not one of those groups got up in there and was fighting that shit. Nobody was like, hey man, we got to stop selling them the opium. Now, once again, how they were able to get the opium is because the Ilkhanate had the whole Silk Road sewed up. Yes, he did. Right. Yes, they did, I should say. So they were able to bring the poppy all the way from Afghanistan into China, eventually being able to cultivate their own poppy after a while, but nothing close to the magnitude of what they're getting in Afghanistan. Right. They got them hooked literally to things that they already had access to. It's different than what the English did to the Native Americans, who there's no indication that they drank fermented or distilled drinks ever. There's no indication of that. There's none whatsoever. Most of them were hunter gatherers. The few so-called groups of Native Americans that were known to be agriculturalists from time to time would also engage in nomadic lifestyles if the environment were to change suddenly upon them. All these things being considered and said, I can't stress it enough. What would you do if, I don't know, you had a neighbor, right? And your neighbor seemed like they were gang affiliated or something like that. And then one day your children are outside playing, or just a loved one. It could be a nephew or a niece, or it could be a younger cousin, or it could be a little brother or sister, but somebody that you care for dearly, your parents, someone you really actually truly love, is outside playing or just hanging out. And all of a sudden a commotion breaks out, shootout breaks out, right? And by the grace of God, your people aren't hurt. But you tell yourself, you say, you know what? If I ever see them gathering like that again, I'm going to do something about it before it even goes south. So you let your neighbor know. You go over there. You got your strap in your front pocket. You got another one on your shoulder, and you got a knife in your back pocket, right on, already at the ready. You say, hey, look, hey, you knock on the door. Hey, I'm Joe Blow Schmuckatelli. Uh, I live across the way, and 1234, right? Uh, Safe Street. And the other day, you guys had a situation that played out here that almost could have took the life of not only somebody that I care about and that I love, but it could have took the lives of other individuals who live in this area. And you go on to tell them, hey, look, if you ever get close to having that many people over here again, or if a situation like that ever gets closer like that again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to unleash my entire arsenal onto your household. Word? You see what I'm saying? You didn't no aggression, no none of that. You just let them know what's popping right then and there. If that ever happens again, from my residence, I'm going to unload everything I got onto your residence and everybody that's out there. Okay, then. So you've given them their clear warning. The only warning that they're going to get a year later, a month later, a day later, however long it takes, these individuals have another little so called get together that gets way out of hand. And before they can come to you and say, hey, this individual just did this and this, you already shooting out your window, tearing shit up. You already told them. They know where those shots are coming from. They know where it's coming from. They get it. They're like, yeah, he did. He did. So as opposed to them getting an Airbnb, right? As opposed to them going to go rent out a whole floor of hotel rooms or motel rooms, whatever, right? As opposed to them going somewhere and renting out an event center. No, they have that bullshit playing out at their home again. And you said, don't worry, I got you. This is exactly what Russia's doing right now. Don't worry, I got you, Ukraine. Y'all niggas is tripping. I got you. All Ukraine had to do was be like, we don't want to be part of NATO. We're tripping. My bad. I forgot we live on the eastern side of the earth. I forgot. And the reason why none of those other countries over there, Germany, France, Italy, especially a place like Italy, but Germany, France, Italy, Portugal, all of them, okay? None of them want to get involved in that shit. Want to know why? Because they're right next to these places. The reason why Joe Biden beating his chest is because he's way the fuck over here. There's well over 1,000 miles of water between us. Do y'all get what I'm saying? So, in order to even engage America, this is what I was saying before about the trouble in the East, okay? Disaster in the West. Whatever's going to happen, it'll happen on that side of the earth way before we even know about it. Now, how I know that this ain't the real thing is because there's still internet up where I'm still able to tell y'all what I see on the matter. Right. Don't worry though. Put it down in your minds. Taiwan is next. Did I say tomorrow, next month, or this year, or even next? They're next. Big, big facts. They are next. There's no way they're not. If I'm China, I'm looking at everybody in the region close to Russia, talk about so-called Western countries, and I'm looking at their reactions. Y'all are so afraid to get cut off because you got to think about. See, let me give y'all some real world history, and that I've already explained years and years and years ago. And every once in a while, I get riled up like this, and I have to explain it again. Did you know that after World War II, right, coming into what so-called Korea and the likes, did you know that in order to help the Chinese to build up their economy, that the Americans, and they tried to do the same thing with the Soviet Union after the Soviet Union fell, but I'm gonna break it down in a minute. They said, hey, look, make all of our toothbrushes, make all of our this is how everything got to be made in China in the first place. It's because they gave the Chinese a contract to start making all these basic hygiene goods and things like that, so that way they could try to stimulate their economy. Right. A lot of people don't know this. This is how it really happened. So when all that took place, it gave the Chinese, even though it was a small and menial economic base, this is why it was so cheap coming out of China, because the Americans worked that deal out. Right. Did I say they were right for that? Or am I saying right as in they were the correct to do that? No, I'm saying right as in that's what happened. So because that happened, it gave the Chinese a foothold and a way into the door that it never had before. Now, I'm not saying that the Chinese planned were to be where they're at, but the Chinese, since I've known in the 90s, right? And I'm talking about I knew about this as a little boy. But since in the 90s, the Chinese have always had 10-year plans. Now, how far back those really go, I don't know. But I would assume it was once they had a viable economy. Okay. And they were like, you know what? Making toothbrushes ain't that bad. Making socks and underwear ain't that bad. Making t-shirts and all that stuff ain't that bad. And the reason why they were able to make those things that are made out of cotton is because China was one of the only places on the earth that produced cotton during slavery. Big facts. Check it out. Man, I'm trying to give y'all a game right now. This is more than just about Ukraine and all that. There's a lot of little things that go into understanding this situation. Having said that, when the Russians were given a similar opportunity, and I know they wish they had taken it, when the Russians were given a similar opportunity, they turned it down. Yep, they turned it down. I don't know if it was pride or arrogance or what, but it's like, yeah, we good on that. Give me 1 second. And because they turned it down, they put themselves in a position where even now, economically, they depend on things like gasoline, right? Oil. That's like their main one, you know. And I'm not knocking them, right? I'm not knocking them for being like that. I'm not saying anything foul per se. What I'm pointing out is this. You have one group who's like, I make everything for everybody. You have another group who's like, it doesn't matter that I don't make everything for everybody because I have access to a natural resource that everybody needs. So literally between these two groups, either all your menial goods are shut off or your ability to move around and gad about freely is shut off. Who is deep, ain't it? See, this is what happens when you play these type of games. Now, did America know? Did America know that China would be in this situation? I highly doubt it. If you really believe that something is never going to change, you're probably not going to change either. You get what I'm saying? And so we have a situation where the Ukrainians literally forgot, like they literally must have forgot, like when Putin. And I'm not sure if you guys have heard this trope or this narrative that the Ukrainians practice in Nazism. Okay, here's the thing about that. No matter how many Russian traitors you can find in history who were like pretty much turncoats, the Russians lost more people than anyone else during World War II. I can't stress that enough. I've said this a multitude of times on my channel, a multitude of times. Even before I was ever talking about RIC, I've always expressed that. They lost a multitude of people. So for somebody who is about to be 70, right? Coming up on 70, who was a little boy living in the aftermath of World War II, I'm sure that anybody that they're calling Nazis, even if people want to say it's not true, means they can't prove it. We don't live over there. You do not live over there, brothers and sisters. So you can't speak to whether they know that or not. I'm speaking on the fact that they brought it up and they paid the highest price out of anybody else during that conflict. So for them to say something, it at least merits you to look at it and to analyze the situation. Now, don't y'all think it's, I don't know, suspicious that the same America who allowed German Nazi scientists and soldiers to repatriate to America would have an issue with the place saying, Russia being the place, saying that another country has engaged in Nazism, even though America itself has engaged in Nazism. Can I get an amen from somebody? Come on, this is deep. So we got the kettle calling the pot black or the pot calling the kettle black. Doesn't matter. The Russians are like, shit, we weren't no Nazis. we we might be evil on some other shit, but we ain't no Nazis. Right. And I know they all think they're so-called good people, but they're not. A handful of Mongol Slavic blooded individuals are truly actually stand-up individuals. They're hardwired to be a certain way. They can't help it. So I don't knock them for being who they are. The same thing with regular Mongols and regular Slavics. Slavs. I do not blame them for being who they are. That is who they are. But I'll be damned if I let somebody who literally has embraced the same culture that one person is saying that these individuals are engaging in or did engage in, and it's been to the detriment of their people, that I don't believe them. I'm sorry. I'm not going out like that. I hope y'all don't go out like that either. Now back to speaking softly and carrying a big old stick with you. You know why Iran has been quiet this whole time? Because they're strategically positioned to attack anyone who comes from the West. The West knows it. See, that's why I ain't been talking about them. Let me go ahead and talk about where Iran is at. And they have proxy forces all over. But the last thing I know Europe wants, and this is going to make some of y'all think, what were the Russians really doing in Africa? I told y'all though, getting ready for this shit. Didn't I tell y'all they were just helping the Africans do whatever they was doing down there in Africa? Now they ready to go to Ukraine and fuck some shit up. I said that. Okay then. Now having said all that, the last thing the European nations want are for some of the proxy forces that are in the northern part of Africa, i.e. Iran, to come all the way up from behind and really jump this shit off in ways that nobody sees coming. Now I know people are like, "Oh, bro, they do troop. They can calculate how many troops you have in an area. All this espionage and all this, that, and the other. At what level does that shit become ineffective? You see what I'm saying? At what point? How can you really tell if these dudes are really? Why do you think they're so afraid of migrants who look a certain way? Not them black dark Africans, but the ones who look like they Turk or something like that. Why do you think they're so afraid of them? Right. Think about it. What do you think the fear is of them, other than the obvious? That these individuals could possibly very well be uh, uh, combatants, enemy combatants. Right. Sitting here by, that's right, Iran. So in a lot of these places, they can't even comfortably speak on going and doing anything about in Ukraine. Right. Because they're terrified. They're literally scared to death, y'all. I need y'all to understand this. They're literally scared to death. Turn on one of these little lights real quick. It's a little bright back there, but I'll just put my big old head in the way. That'll work. Better than me sitting here in the darkness looking like I'm a mushroom. But check this out, y'all. I really do believe that there's a contingent force of Iranian, Chinese, Russians who are strategically placed all over the earth, and they're just waiting for for their phone call. They're waiting for their activation, right? Their cells. So it would behoove me, it would behoove you, and everybody else who's likened to us to stay out the way. Ukraine is not your battle. Did you hear me, black people? Ukraine is not your fight. Taiwan is not your fight. Right. The only way you get free in this land is if individuals who have the ability to defend themselves outright, meaning they have their own air support, they have their own navies, and they have their own ground armies, and even sometimes marine forces to go with their navies. They are the only ones who can go toe to toe with those who oppress you. See, I love the fact that Rick has not made it a point to try to shit on black people this whole entire time. People be like, "Oh, what do you mean?" Russians in this country, as racist as some of them are, they're not known for going out their way to be overtly, bigoted towards black people. It's even known in Russia that Caucasians, just in case y'all didn't know, Caucasians are an actual race of people. And in Russia, they are hated more than you and I. Did you know that? Did you know that? Did you know that Russians hate Caucasians more than they hate black people? If they really hate you like that, the hate that they have for Caucasians is far greater. So you're dealing with groups of individuals who literally, for all you Negroes who talk about self-hate, they're dealing with a far greater range of self-hate than you could ever realize. Right. Right. They're not worried about you. They're not worried about me. You know what they're trying to do right now? They're trying to figure out, are these how many individuals are going to be willing to lay down their lives for a cause that is not their own? Are you really ready to die for America, brothers and sisters? Really? Are you really ready to put don't do not use your families as a crutch. Don't say I have to protect my mother and my sister. I have to protect my wife and my children. I have to protect my family. From what? Are the Russians here invading this bitch, tearing shit up? Fuck no. So you don't owe any kind of material support to Ukraine or any place in the near future that's going to get their whole shit rocked. You do not owe that to them. Think I'm joking? You think I'm lying? This is a fact, y'all. If you brothers and sisters, if you really believe that you owe this country anything, just think about Emmett Till. Think about that. You know who Emmett Till is the equivalent of? I can't think of the boy's name because they don't know his name. There used to be a really, really despicable king named Demetrius, who was the king of the Greeks at the time. And I can't think of which number Demetrius he was. Demetrio. And this king had a taste for little boys. And one day, he pressed upon one little boy in particularly, a so-called Jew, and this boy threw his whole body into a cauldron of smoldering hot boiling water. He was reveled as a martyr. Listen, whether Emmett Till knew it or not, right. See, this is what y'all don't got to see it like that. He martyred himself already. Whether he made eyes at that woman, whistled at that woman, right. When you hear the stories of Emmett Till, you don't hear about Emmett Till fighting back and struggling. Right. A true martyr, whether he wanted to be one or not. How we know he's a martyr? Because the entire civil rights movement is based upon him. So damn everything that happened to everybody else before him. Even if you want to say damn Black Wall Street, because that's not where civil rights came from. came from a 14-year-old boy from Chicago who got his face smushed over the accusation of someone who looks just like the individuals over there getting their faces kicked in right now. Think about that. I know, really think about it. See, this is why I don't mind saying what I say. I'm not here to upset the apple cart, to rock the apple cart, okay? To shake the apple cart. I'm not here for that. What I'm here to do is to remind you, number one, first and foremost, you owe no allegiance to any of these individuals. I have no allegiance to Rick. I speak on Rick because I see what's happening with my two eyes. Individuals talk about white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy. Let me drop this on y'all real quick. The next time you hear somebody say that dumbass shit about white supremacy, ask them this and really, really mean it. Ask them this. Say, hey, does one drop of black blood really make somebody black? I mean, like, does it actually make you an Afro person if in their essence, they're literally only like 6% Afro person, right? You're not even an eighth. You're a 16th black, right? You're a Tessaroon or something like that. Is that are they really just like me? And if they say indeed they are a black person, so that means that the people oppressing us, they would be people now because they would be black people. That means that none of them are white. Right. They're all black. Do we, I mean, am I the only one who knows that? Am I the only one to see it that way? That based on that logic, we have been oppressing ourselves? No? Better yet. How can there be a such thing as white supremacy if they're all black? Oh my goodness, I've taken it there. How? How is that even possible? How is that biologically possible? If they're all black because they have a drop of black blood in their veins, these dumbass niggas will go on about how all life comes out of Africa. If they truly are black people, they're not. We're being oppressed by ourselves. Anybody ever told it to y'all like that? That you are oppressing yourself? Right. They don't want to hear that. Once again, it's too big for them. It's too big for them. See, I take the training wheels off because I feel like I'm dealing and talking to real adults. What did I tell y'all 6 years ago? Almost 7 years ago? Hey, man, put the babies away. When I'm talking, put the babies up. Put the babies away. You tell the babies what I said. You disseminate, and then, you know what I'm saying? Translate it, right? Relay it to them to the best of your ability, to what you know and what you believe. I've been saying that. But I'll be damned if a nigga gonna sit here and tell me to my face that there's white supremacy and yet one drop of black blood makes you black. So technically the whole world is black on black all the time. Virtually every single one of these individuals that you've ever seen has a drop of Negro or Negroid blood in their veins. Virtually everybody you've ever seen. Via their maternal, via the paternal, meaning their mother or their father, meaning either from their mother's side or from their father's side. I can guarantee you that. I don't believe that. Only a fool would say something like that and want you to believe it. And only a fool would tell you about white supremacy, then tell you about one drop of black blood makes them a black person. So once again, how can they be white and be black? I thought we called them biracials. And biracials aren't black people. No, they're not. They're something else. They're their own group. Right. Their genetic class, Their genera does not exist without the amalgamation of two totally different species. I'm him. I'm the nigga to say it to you. I don't care. Tell me who, y'all. Tell me who. Tell me who's gonna tell y'all this. Where they at? So that way I can go and shake their hand and say, man or sis, been missing you, brother or sister. I've been missing you. I don't know where you been because they don't exist. I'm it right here. The buck stops here with me. We all know that. We all know that. It stops with you. If you believe even partially what I'm saying, it stops with you. It's hard to tell idiots. It's hard to tell morons. It's hard to tell the unlearned and the unwise and the foolish anything. They don't know a damn thing. And what they think they know, if they could prove it, it would all be known to the entire earth. The Russians did not invade Ukraine. You cannot invade what is yours. Is anybody hearing me? Is anybody hearing me? Right. Do you know China blamed the US for this whole situation? Why wouldn't they? Excuse me. And ain't nobody talking about Taiwan, and Taiwan's butthole is about this tight right now, all the way puckered up. Couldn't have a bowel movement even if they needed to. Right, because they're seeing this is what really happens when shit gets really gangster. This is what really happens. Right. So all that saber rattling, all that chest thumping, this is what it got Ukraine, getting them fucked up. And where's America at? Where's Germany at? Huh? Where's France at? Huh? Where the Francs at? Because that's France and Germany are the Francs, just in case y'all didn't know. Certain parts of Belgium, certain parts of Poland. Anyway, let me calm down. Look, where they at? Huh? Oh, fuck it. Better yet, where are the British at? The so-called former Romans, even though Russia claims that they're also the former Romans. Where are they at to roll up on the Russians? Where's Britain at, huh? They so tough. They talking about they're ready to go to war with Britain if they have to. They're nuclear proliferated. Why are they getting it popping? Oh, that's right, because they're right next to each other. I forgot. Do y'all think India is going to do anything about China if they decide to invade Taiwan? You think India is going to put on a cape to save Taiwan? Really, really. India won't even put on a cape to save their own so-called ethnic groups in places like Pakistan. And you think they're going to stop for individuals who are not even them? No. See, at some point, you have to become an adult in your mind. You can't just be one in body. You can't be an adult in name only. Okay? That doesn't work. At some point, you have to grow up and say, okay, what am I looking at? Right now, you're looking at the end, beginning. I want to see, I really want to see if we get past 2027. I know that's 5 years out from now. I got to see it. I, I got to see it. Taiwan is next. I'm gonna keep. Let me say that again. Taiwan is next. Only way that they're not next is one way only. They calm down all their provocations. They they either give back or sell at a very reduced price all the weaponry that they got from the United States. If not, guess what's gonna happen? China's gonna push up on Taiwan, and China, just like Russia, is gonna dare the entire earth, dare anybody come over here fucking around and see what happens. You know, there's this chick named Rachel Maddow. I'm 31 years old. I've been watching Rachel Maddow on TV literally for almost 20 years. Now on the internet. But I've been seeing her face, you know, through a screen for almost 20 years. Y'all don't know how long I've been involved in politics. I knew who Ali Velshi was when I was a little boy. All these cats y'all be seeing, I knew who all of them were when I was a boy. When I was a boy, I knew who they were. Knew who they were. Understood their function. Rachel Maddow had the nerve to fix her carpet licking lips to say some dumb shit like, oh, what Putin said today about nuclear proliferation was disgusting. This bitch is talking like she gonna go throw on a wetsuit and go disarm these niggas. Okay, bitch, you go over there and handle that then. Let's see how far you get. Cause it's easy to talk that shit right here. See, I'm not talking no shit. I'm telling y'all what's popping. Whether you want to believe it or not doesn't matter to me. It doesn't change the quality of my life. You see what I'm saying? There's a reason I don't ask for. Let me break this down again. There's a reason I don't ask for donations or anything. Because I want to say what I want to say, and I don't want to feel like I'm constrained by supporting efforts to say what I want to say. I.e., making somebody upset and they hit me up and be like, bro, man, you know I donate this much money to you all the time, bro. Man, you think you could tone it down on this kind of talk? And as opposed to me being compromised, right? Taking gifts as opposed to giving righteous judgment, I give righteous judgment. And I find my own way to make dividend. So that way I'm not compromised. Come on. Don't know about, bruh, can I get an amen? This is where I'm at. You don't have to say it in the comment section. Say it at home to yourself, please. Because this is the truth. Everybody knows that the only way we are going to change how we think here in this land is if we start to see what is going on everywhere else and accept it. Either you accept what's going on across that water, across the pond, as they like to say, or you don't. If you do not accept what's going on right now, let me go ahead and tell you this right here. No former veteran, no piece of private land is going to save you from the cartel, the Chinese, the Russians, and all the other little splinter groups that are already in this land who want their pound of flesh. Not going to save you. Nope. Not even close. And all you black people who live in the South, you're in the most danger of being hit up by the cartels and all that shit when the shit jumps off. That's a fact. That is a complete, utter fact. I live in a state like Washington. There's better chance that somebody like Russia try to wipe the whole state off the map before anything. But I doubt that's going to happen. Why waste your time with here when you can get DC? Just throwing it out there. Right. Why waste your time here on little old Tacoma when you can really go over there and really tear up the real chocolate city, not the fake one over here in Lakewood. Oh, okay. Let me stop. I ain't sure. But I'm real serious. I'm deadly serious when I say that. Your boy Vlad Putin is showing the entire earth that when somebody commands troops, and I feel like Vlad Putin had a King David moment where he amassed all these number of people. Now he didn't amass his whole army. He didn't send that much, but he sent to the degree that he even allowed for his hand to be seen as opposed to just outright going into Ukraine and just being like, I'm taking some shit. But then the international community, China wouldn't be able to defend their actions like they have been able to, pretty much by saying that the West has been a provocation. And neither group, like I said, neither group being a part of NATO is the real problem. If Russia or China was a part of NATO, hell, if Iran was a part of NATO, right? Once again, they've made so many concessions for different groups. I want y'all to think about this. Germany is part of NATO, cuz. Do they not cede from individuals that committed one of the craziest atrocities, at least as far as they're concerned, in known history? They're part of NATO. Right. All the groups that are part of NATO have committed atrocities and genocide towards Africans. No, not one group is innocent of that. Look, brother Melvis Usidame, he sent me a little joint, and I didn't know that Telegram was a Russian. It's like it's like the Russian version of TikTok or something like that, right? And I didn't know that at first, but we was talking, was chopping up through the emails, and then bro sent me another email saying like, "Yo, your stuff about Rick, dead on." You know what I'm saying? Right? Nail on the hammer. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hammer on the nail, right to the head. Because I've been on point about this. I'm not trying to steer. I have, once again, I don't get paid to say this shit. I'm saying it because I see what's going on, and I'm like, yo, this is the only logical explanation. Unless they want to incorporate magic, right? The only logical explanation is that these individuals are doing thus. Ukraine put itself in this position. Yes, it did. Everybody's like, how they put themselves in this position? They don't want to be oppressed, blah, blah, blah. They used to be part of the ill Khanate. What part of that don't y'all understand? Right. In the end, it's just my opinion, but the groups that are all over there are going to fight one another. Russia and China will eventually tear each other to pieces, just not today. Right. One group is going to say, we're no longer under the thumb of the ill Khanate. And the other group is going to say, where is your honor? And then the squabbling begins. That's how it goes. But we're so far from that point that it doesn't even matter. Right. People are like, oh, the ill Khanate, you're full of shit, Meech. You know what you're talking about, nigga? You just a dumbass nigga. No, first and foremost, if you don't know what the ill Khanate is, you're a dumbass nigga. Number one. Number two, okay? The fact that I'm even telling y'all what I already know to be a truth, the fact that I'm even bringing it up, things that I already understand, I understand it. Right. Just like my mother used to say about her teachers when she was a little girl. See, teachers don't tell children this no more. My mama said they used to tell her all the time. Her teachers would say, not all the time to her, but to just different students, different little young people. I already got my education. Okay, nigga, I already know how to read, homie. Okay, politely say, nigga, I can already count, player. Okay, I already know how to do all that. So get on my level. That's what those teachers were saying back then. Get on my level. That's how I feel. Without me ever having to say it to people. Get on my level then. If it's so easy, if what I'm saying is so easy, show me. But how many individuals here even spoke on the things that I spoke on? How many individuals go to other places, whether it be on YouTube or Twitch or wherever, whatever kind of a website, whether obscure or well known? How many of y'all have ever heard anybody speak to this shit that I'm speaking to? I'm using actual history and I'm using modern day life to align these things. Hey, and your teachers were right when they told you, nigga. I already got mine, homie. Okay, whatever you think about me, you might think I'm a crusty bum or whatever. But I already got mine. See, this is what I think is so funny. Niggas think I'm not on Wi-Fi internet at the library doing this. I'm in my home. I'm in my abode doing this. It's a big difference. Word? Y'all see those bottles up there in the background? Didn't nobody pilfer those? Those are all paid for, cash money, right out the store. Obviously, those over a period of time, but still, that's my point. He's an alcoholic. Whatever. Whatever. You go find another one who's just like your boy, telling y'all the things that ain't nobody else gonna say. And then before I roll out here in the next couple minutes, I I didn't want to do this too long. I stewed and brewed over it all day. That's what took me so long to even get here, is because I was tired and I had to rest my body. But then I also had to rest my mind and I had to say, Meech, we are not going to say certain things today. I haven't said those things. I'm not going to say what they are because I said I wouldn't say them. However, I must make it clear to the people we don't win by being cowards. Let me give y'all some game. Did it dawn on any of y'all that Russia had already turned the other cheek? Mm. Whether you want to say Ukraine slapped their face or America slapped their face or whoever slapped their face. I wanted to say Ukraine, right? Say Ukraine slapped their face by saying if Russia invades, it'll be way harder and way more difficult than they think it will be. Their president went from saying that to saying the situation is dire. Why do you think Vlad Putin extended the olive branch in the early hours of his invasion? He's like, cuz we can still talk this shit out, bro. We can still talk. Invade. I don't know if it's really an invasion or if it's just a hostile takeover. I like that term better. Right. I love hostile takeovers. My people that I seed from, that I believe I come from, committed a hostile takeover thousands of years ago. Can you hear me? Yes, they did. Who am I to say a hostile takeover don't work or it's not effective? I know it is. I'm not caping for Russia. I'm caping for us. Yeah. Yep. Damn right, bro. Damn right. No doubt. Iran has already turned the other cheek too, bro. But that's what I'm saying though. Folks want to believe so badly that there's what's the word I'm looking for, man? They want to believe so badly that you have to be slapped physically to have to turn the other cheek. And when I say turn to the other cheek, I think I need to be very, very, very clear about that. Uh Iran, Russia, China have all proverbially turned the other cheek already. This is why they're acting out the way that they are. I'm not gonna let you slap me again. Once again, any one of y'all, find me a translation. Find a translation of the Bible. I have the KJV already. I have two of them. Where it says, turn the other cheek so they can slap you again. Find that translation, and I'm going to give you some money. Because I'm telling y'all, that's not what it means. And Russia turned the other cheek already. They said, look, bro, y'all niggas talking all that crazy shit. They took that. But okay, you got us. Okay. Now let me turn it this way. I don't think y'all meant that. And as they tried to slap Russia again, Russia said, put the troops on the border, cuz. Whole hand withdrew. Whole hand went from trying to slap them to putting their hand in their pocket. Okay? Okay? Went from trying to slap Russia to putting their hand in their pocket. Talking about I'm gonna call in a favor. Looking ass. Right? Somebody tell me I'm lying. I'm gonna call in a favor looking ass dudes. How's that favor working out, Ukraine? See, this is why I know that they're not ready for it. Taiwan had better I'm telling y'all, they better pucker those lips up. Okay? Because I know something else that's already puckered up, like I told you. That hole in their back end, about that tight right now. No space. No space. Okay? Because, right. The only logical thing to happen now is for China to follow suit. Right. They're mad because I'm speaking on the most painfully obvious and plain sight things. Other people don't see it so, right then and there. But I see it so right then and there. Right. I was talking about the ill Khanate before Afghanistan kicked out the Americans. Yes, I was. Talking about all that stuff. See, this is the difference between me and somebody else. I don't put fancy pictures. I used to put pictures in a lot of videos. I have a lot of older videos that were actually very, very, very nicely produced. Besides the point, I don't put pictures and stuff like that in the videos trying to entice the audience to think a certain way. I say what I'm saying. I am purposely abrasive. Did y'all hear me? I am purposely uh like 100 grit sandpaper. Okay? Oh, extremely abrasive. I'm not 1,000 grit. I'm like 100 grit when it comes to certain stuff. I don't need to. I don't want to make it fun. I want people to tell that there was some physical activity that had to go down before it got to the point that it's at right now. Right. 80 grit. Just some straight up shit. Feel like pebbles on paper. Okay. I'm not playing no games, man. I'm not playing any games. Russia, Iran, China put the entire earth on notice with this one action. Because if you fight Russia, you'll inevitably have to fight Iran. And if you do that, China is going to feel the need to get involved. Want to know why? Because till this day, they only persecute the Uyghurs because the Uyghurs don't want to accept that they are a subclass to the Mongol people, to the Khanate. No disrespect, but that's what they are. To the Mongol Khans that took over all that shit, these niggas are second-rate citizens. So are the Russians to the Chinese. They all know this already. It's just, can they get along long enough? And I believe they will. Can they get along long enough to see something actually change? See, everybody done got so comfortable. I think it's weird that niggas in America talk about racism, but you don't want to see shit change. You don't care so much about racism to see powers on the other side of the earth shake up the foundation of everything that folks so-called believe in. Any nigga who says they believe in democracy is a motherfucking liar. I don't believe in democracy. That's a fake ass word. It's a make up, make believe word. You were born free. Right. You were born free. Even a slave, a servant is free to do as they please if they don't mind the consequences. Right. Does that make sense? See, Taiwan is going to be in a very peculiar situation because everybody got to see what happened with Ukraine. Okay, is Britain closer to Ukraine or closer to Taiwan? Somebody tell me. Somebody tell me. Anybody. I don't care who it is. Are they closer to Ukraine or are they closer to Taiwan? The obvious answer is Ukraine. Is France closer to Ukraine or to Taiwan? The list goes on of all those so-called NATO partners, okay? Western allies who could give a fuck if something happened to Taiwan. Right. When the Indians finally show that they're still on the side of the Chinese, as far as not wanting Whitey to take everything back over, the world is in trouble. When I say the world is in big trouble. See, Hindi Chinny Bye Bye. Remember I did the Hindi Chitty Rusi Bye Bye video a long time ago, right? And in that video, I explained the relationship between China and between India, and how things only fell apart because of the Tibetan monks and the Dalai Lama, where the Chinese felt that they shouldn't practice that lifestyle, and the Indians were like, "Cuz, leave them alone." They fell out over that. To this day, they're salty with one another about that shit. Okay, having said that though, do you think that they're gonna allow a white dude to take back over and to take the position as the face of the earth, the face of the representative of the so-called free world? You think they're gonna let that happen? They're not. White folks, pig-skinned Gentiles are not the face of the earth right now. They're not the face of the free world. No one is. There is no definitive leader. America's leadership died with George Bush. Phil, disagree? Whatever you want to do. I'm telling you that. America's leadership died with George W. Bush. Okay? Right around the time when Dick Cheney shot his homeboy in the face going bird hunting. White supremacy is not real. It's fake. It doesn't exist. It's in your mind. If you go outside and tell yourself that when you see somebody who looks differently than you, they have straight, sometimes even curly like hair, but pink skin, pink looking skin, sometimes brown eyes, sometimes blue, sometimes other colors. If you go outside and tell yourself that they are better than you, you've already lost the war. How can I depend on somebody who thinks someone is better than them to defend themselves against those that they think are better than them? Let me say that again. How can I depend on someone to defend themselves against another individual whom they inherently believe is already better than them? How? See, their words, not mine. I don't call nobody supreme to me but my God. That's it. That's it. There's only one supreme being. That's the Most High God. For me, nigga, you could be 7 foot, 500 pounds in the paint, all yoke. I'm catching that fade before I run, bro. Some niggas gonna be like, "Oh, he was stupid for staying." Other niggas gonna be like, "Cause that nigga, his heart is way bigger. What? His heart is bigger than the nigga who fought him and tried to finish him or finished him. His heart is way bigger than that." Right. Anybody who would rather turn and run than stay and see is a coward I want nothing to do with. No thing to do with. Way of the warrior. Speak softly, carry a big stick. That is the way of the warrior. Speak softly, carry a sharp sword. Come on. Did you hear me? Speak softly, carry a sharp sword. That's how we end this out in the next few minutes. Yeah, we're gonna end it on one of those tips. If the only time you talk about so-called white folks being supremacists is in the confines of your home and the comfort of a barbershop, you are a coward. If you don't ever tell them right to their faces, y'all ain't shit, you are a coward. If you think that they ain't shit and you never tell them that, you're a coward. You don't have to yell it to them. You could politely say it to them. First and foremost, I just don't think very highly of your bloodline and your genealogy. I just don't think very highly of them. They're murderers, scallywags, thieves, and miscreants. Wow. Did I raise my voice to say that? No. And at the same time, while I'm telling them this, already ready to take their whole head off. I was ready to take their whole head off when I first seen them. What? That's okay, Noobly. Okay, Jedi. What's good, bro? 1 second. You guys know. Nick, man. I gotta get it in too. Pray all is well, y'all. I really do, man. Look, we've had a epic little hour and 20 minutes. A couple moments of me acting up, but not really. I do my best to not act a fool. But quick recap just for you, brother. China will do the same thing. China will do the same thing to Tehran. You know what I'm saying? Will. Will. China is going to do the same thing to Taiwan. I just need to see the provocations from Taiwan to see it happen. The only way that they won't invade Taiwan is if Taiwan lay on their back like a $2 whore in the middle of Tijuana in August. Okay? That's it. That's it. That's it. That's the only way that they're not going in there is if they lay on their back like a $2 whore. Other than that, other than that, we're going in. Little Wayne Drake style, okay? Okay, we're going in. I'm going in. Okay, I'm going the fuck in. That's how they're about to be on this shit. I'm trying to tell you. Let me stop, man. I'm being so serious. I laugh about it because I see it coming. My two eyes tell me what I see. I know what I see. But that's not the problem or the point here. The problem is we can't continue believing that individuals that are, number one, not better than us are better than us. I mean, black people, excuse me, Afro people literally will disregard the fact that they were slaves, that their ancestors were slaves in this land. They disregard all that and be like, oh, look at how much more they have. Okay, well, they were never slaves. Could you imagine if the Chinese enslaved the Chinese the way black people were enslaved? Imagine if any group of people, so-called people on this earth, enslaved their own people to the degree that we were enslaved. Do y'all really believe that they would be who they are right now? That's a yes or no question. Otherwise, every nation would have an NFL, a National Football League. Big, strong, 280-pound men, big, strong, fast, just really unbelievable specimens running around. They would, but they don't. So that tells me all that I need to know. That they're not cut out for this. They were never cut out for this. There were slaves that were likened to Michael Jordan back in the day. There were slaves likened to Deion Sanders, Lawrence Taylor. The list goes on of so-called Afro people I could bring to bear to mind. Could you imagine being on a plantation with 10 Shaquille O'Neals? Come on. When they used to lynch brothers and sisters, talking about really going to their homes in the middle of the day, middle of the night, snatch them out the house, rape them, then string them up by a tree. Don't matter, man, woman, child, raping them, then stringing them up by a tree. You don't think they like to get the big black bucks? Niggas that's like 7 foot, 280, 350, anywhere between that weight, right? Scared of their own shadow type niggas. Ah, of course they did. Of course. Right. It's only logical. And once again, do you think that the Russians, the Chinese, the Iranians would be half of what you were if their own people practiced upon them what was practiced upon us by a whole nother group? Oh, family, you know how we act, bro. Man, man, the salutes never end from me. Okay, I salute the honorable. Okay, I spit on the dishonorable because they ain't right. They ain't righteous. God bless. May the Most High God, the Creator of heaven and earth, bless every single brother and sister who has ever called upon His name and truly meant it with all their soul, with all their power, with all their might. Tears and snot rolling down their face, hoping that something better would happen one day. I have nothing bad to say about my brothers or my sisters. This is not our fight. My eyes water up when I think about it because it's just like, I want y'all to know this is not our fight. It's not. This is their fight. Let the Ukrainians and let whoever else is going to be afflicted fight their own battle. During the civil rights movement, did black people have guns? Not very many of them. Right. The ones who did have guns were the pieces of shit who had been selling heroin to black people since the early 20s. They had no desire to do anything like that. Do you hear me? None. They had no desire to do anything like that. As far as they were concerned, life is good. Now here we are in a situation where in which who's going to say what I'm saying is a lie? Who will come out and say, "Oh, Taiwan's not next"? Okay, nigga, they're next. Unless they lay on their back like a $2 whore, they're next. That's a fact. Did I say a $200 whore? A $2,000 whore? A $20,000 whore? A $200,000 whore? No, nigga, two single dollar bills, and y'all lucky I don't have no money just laying up right now. That's how much they're. That's how they better lay down. Like they're completely worthless. Otherwise, it's gonna go pop the fuck. It's gonna pop all the way off over here. I'm trying to tell y'all. This has been our edition of the Way of the Warrior. As I get ready to close out in the next handful of minutes, I keep saying that, but I have to get. I just have to stop because if I don't stop, I'll just keep going. Brothers and sisters, there is no way to explain it to you. If one drop of black blood makes everyone black, we've only been ever dealing with ourselves. And we have oppressed ourselves. I refuse to believe that based on what is written in the scripture and based on how they look. They are not us. And they are not. And if your blood is so powerful that one drop of it, one single drop of it makes the other group you, no one is supreme to you. Brother Corey Tyler sent me a very interesting link that had been deleted by the page. And it was saying that CNN puts together the oldest family tree dating back 100,000 years. Now, see, now that's their way of saying that the earth is not that old. Right? They're slowly starting to come to the conclusion earth is not more than 12,000 years old. Right. Starting to scare all y'all when I say shit like that, too. I can't see your faces, but I imagine the faces of some of the people who are like, that's impossible, means it's millions, hundreds of millions of years old. And you know this how? All written known history is less than 10,000 years, niggas. So the earth was around before that, but the only history we have is 10,000 years back. And based on what they'll tell you is what you understand. I don't get no rewards for being a truth teller and a freedom seeker. I don't get, there are no, my half breed little homie Drake couldn't have said it no better. Right on? Trophies. And I don't get no reward for that. Right on? Right. I just do it because I'm supposed to, my niggas. That's what I do this for. Because I'm supposed to. When I'm dead and gone, there will not, if God raised up another one like me, maybe not drinking and smoking, maybe y'all will listen. Maybe y'all take them. Maybe if they monetize it, y'all would take them. Sad. Do I really need to get paid for what I say? No. You can go learn all this stuff all by yourself. I am speaking words out of my mouth that anyone else could put together in the same sequence to desire the same effect, to elicit the same response. Sad enough to say no one else has done that, so I will be the one to do it. Why tell you about a whole bunch of things that don't matter? Does that change what has happened? Nope. So I tell you about the things that I know that actually affect us. Ukraine does not affect us. Taiwan does not affect us. You know what affects us? When the cats at south of that border decide that we've had enough. When they get the green light. When there is a true, ultimate EMP, electromagnetic pulse. It'll be a nuclear EMP. It's going to stop pacemakers. It's going to kill hearing aids. It's going to fry the whole electrical grid. And I really do believe that these guys are working on something dastardly. When I say dastardly, I'm talking about like ships that are powered by men, not by motors, so they can still travel. People changing in and out continuously, so that way one group does this, one group does this. No one ever gets too tired. You will get tired, but you shouldn't be too tired. Right. You are aware that in the middle of the sea, men have fallen asleep in the middle of actual battles. People just get so tired, they're like, fuck it, if I die, I die. Wow. Now, suffice it to say, clearly there are individuals who did not wake up from their sleep, but there are many who did to go on to live their lives. They don't glorify war and death the way that these individuals who play video games do. I'm not glorifying war or death. I'm glorifying the Most High God and that His word be true. There will be wars and what? Rumors thereof. But the way it was said was there will be wars and rumors of wars. No doubt. No doubt. As I kill this last little corner when we get done. Ugh. Whew. Give me a second. What a day. I ain't smoked all day, but way earlier. I'm gonna tap this in front of y'all. Like I said, I'm gonna live up to my reputation. I smoke, I drink, but I don't tell any lies. Quick little side note. If you were the president of the United States, if, and I say if loosely, if you were the president of the United States, would you let your son have business in private equity firms if you yourself did not know about them to begin with? Hell, if you were a senator, would you let your son or your daughter be involved in private equity firms? unless you yourself were involved with them at a certain point in time. Just a question. Don't worry, I'm not gonna go off on a tangent. I just wanted to ask that question, mull that over for me, brothers and sisters, as I get ready to end it out. I salute you. I salute you again, and I salute you once more. Taiwan will get its piece of action. It will get its dose of medicine, and it will have to take full responsibility in the reprisal of hostilities against its nation. I hope and I pray that all of you have a better day than you did yesterday, and that your next week is better than your last. To let y'all know, I have another job again, just in case I didn't tell y'all. I'm flipping burgers, dropping fries, not at McDonald's, at a spot in Seattle, paying me enough money to be there. Uh, and I'm killing it. And I'm gonna keep killing it until the day that I'm over, or until the day that everything changes. I'm gonna keep killing it, y'all. That's my job. I bless you, brothers and sisters, because I know that you're waiting for the day for the Most High God to come back. I know you're waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. But we must be patient and we must be calm. And I put this here. There is no God but Most High God. Oh, right on, bro. I appreciate that, bro. I I'm no God, but a mere man, right on, who is trying to do his best, right? I'm no none of that stuff. No lowercase g. I'm not none of that. I'm just a regular guy. I don't go around calling myself things like that. I pray that you brothers and sisters don't either. It just hit my mind right now as I was reading what I'm writing down. Salute again. There is no God but the Most High God, y'all. Do y'all understand that? There, only Him. Continue to do what you must do until the day comes that we must do no more other than escape this land. Our day comes. Don't worry if it's not today or tomorrow. Our day comes. As the sun shines, as the sun shines, and the grass is green, and the sky is blue, and the water is clear, our day comes. And with that said, I'm out.